Find out and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. He is a prolific, best-selling, and award-winning author, as well as speaker with a ton of heart. No other than Mr. Aaron Bryan.
Elbow wrist wrist.
Yay! welcome, Mr. Aaron. And Abstract Essay, can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Well, I've been writing. I love the word prolific because it really is an accurate depiction of where I've been. I've been writing sincerely since 1981, off and on. And I know that's a long time ago. I did a second grade assignment issued by the second grade teacher, as we all did. And it was very um, enlightening is probably the best word to use to describe it, because it opened my eyes to the possibilities of creating something, of writing a story, and then holding it in your hands when it's done and going, holy cow, I made this. So it's that set me on the path of creativity. um,
Mm.
and I'm just published book number 41 on February 6th. It's part of a series. Book 42 will publish probably in April, completing that series, and then second star to the right and straight on till morning.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Aaron. Thank you so much. And today, let's talk about creative marketing. So,
Mm.
Mr. Aaron, you had an extraordinary career journey from voice actor for Fortune 500 brands to a best selling author with over 35 books, musician, wedding videographer, and more. How has the diversity of your life experience shaped your unique approach to marketing and business?
Well, I mean, all of those are entrepreneurial pursuits. So they all share a very common thread that you rise or fall on your own merits, and no one's going to provide for you. This is your dream, and you need to actually, you know, do the hustle, do the grind. So with all of those pursuits, it's all taken a great amount of planning, dreaming, hoping, willingness to execute, getting out there and just putting yourself not shamelessly, humbly, but still, kind of shamelessly out there, because you are in a sense promoting you, whether it is a singer or a wedding videographer or a videographer or an author or a voiceover artist. They've all taken a lot of concerted efforts just to promote. Creative marketing scares a lot of people. Creative marketing, though, if it's something that you believe in and it's an endeavor that you are passionate about, how can you not tell people about that? I mean, why would you not share what you're so passionate about? So it doesn't have to be this great, big, scary specter that a lot of people treat marketing as.
Very well said, Mr. Aaron. You've said you focus determines your reality. For creative entrepreneur feeling scattered or overwhelmed, how do you help them find the focus without losing the creative spark?
That's a great question. Well, that's a mantra that actually I did not invent. It comes from a movie I like to pretend does not exist, which is Star Wars One: The Phantom Menace. Sorry, George. It's a movie that, with Jar Jar Binks and all that stuff, just blech. But boy, that's a gold nugget that came out of that movie. That phrase, "Your focus determines your reality," has become a mantra for me. Uh, Many, many moons ago, it was my focus to become self-employed. Check. That became a reality for me. It became a focus for me to become a award-winning wedding videographer. Check. I won it 3 times. It became a focus for me to become a full-time, successful, and lucrative voiceover artist. Check. That became my reality. And then it was my focus to become a best-selling and award-winning author, and that became my reality as well. My focus now is becoming, as soon as possible, not a voiceover artist who also does authoring, but an author who also does voiceover artist or voice acting, because one is providing our income, but I would love to see that flip someday, and I expect it to flip because it is my focus.
Certainly, it will. give you more flip, Mr. Aaron. You transitioned from successful voice acting career under the name of Joshua Alexander to becoming a prolific author and self-publishing advocate. What did the pivot teach you about marketing yourself in a completely new industry?
Well, again, some of the things, the practices, the approaches, the stratagems, the organization is all going to be largely similar. Um, because in both you're actually marketing yourself, and in so many ways as a marketer or a promoter or somebody who is just simply an enthusiast about what they do, you are really the service. I mean, Stephen King isn't promoting his books. People know it's Stephen King and they'll buy his book. Suzanne Collins isn't promoting the Hunger Games. She's Suzanne Collins, so you know who she is. If it's a Spielberg movie, you want to go see it. And so you're kind of selling the service that way. So the approach was largely the same. I just needed to, decide on a new logo, and I needed to decide on what I wanted to write. But the problem here's where it's really simple. As a voiceover artist, I'm simply marketing my voice and selling, my voice. As an author, I don't want to be pigeonholed into a single genre. I think if you approach and try to cover multiple genres, you become more well-rounded, more diverse, more palatable. So in doing that, it is harder to brand yourself as a sci-fi author if you also do children's books, or a children's book author if you also do thrillers. So it's been a little bit of a different gamut as an author, but it's one that really keeps me on my toes, and for that I'm grateful.
Mr. Aaron, you've been creative entrepreneur for over 20 years. What is the single biggest lesson you've learned about turning creativity to a sustainable business without losing your sanity?
Well, it's actually been closer to 30, and it's 3 whole decades of being out there, which I'm really proud of. It's like, but it also means that I'm old. So, anyway, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I have to deal with the age. But I think one of the biggest lessons I learned is there's a huge difference between expenses and investments. Expenses are the short term. Okay, if I have to spend this money, I will, blah, blah, blah. It's an attitude differential, whereas investments are for the long term. No, I need this. I must have this for my career, my pursuits. It's an investment, not an expense. The other thing is really having a kind of a forward directional axis. As an author, mantras and mission statements work for me as much as they do for anybody else, any other entrepreneur or freelancer. And so the your focus determines your reality has been a mantra. um, I've got another mantra that really has impacted me over the years that I've been given, and I just try to focus on those and don't let the naysayers take away any sort of excitement or wind in my sails. It's hard to do, but it is possible.
It's possible for sure. Believe in yourself. And mindset. You emphasize the importance of enthusiasm in both marketing and storytelling. Why is it enthusiasm such a powerful marketing tool, and how does someone cultivate authentically rather than forcing it?
Yeah, it is so important. I forget who it was, and I wish I could remember because it was an author who said it. She said, if you want to get better at marketing, stop marketing. And I went,
Yeah.
huh? And
Mhm.
what she then said was, instead, just be an enthusiast.
Mm.
And the difference is paramount. I mean, they're night and day. Marketers are, you're trying to convince someone to buy your product, and they're, twisting their arms and like, okay, okay, stop, I'll buy. People love to buy, they hate to be sold. So marketers run afoul of that. However, if you are simply an enthusiast, what you're doing is just simply emoting and effusing all kinds of excitement over, this this book that you've been given, this idea, and how exciting this is. And so people will hitch their wagon to enthusiasm. If you are enthusiastic over something you've been given, they want to be part of that. And it's a very soft sell. It's a very low pressure. I just want to talk about something that God's given me that I'm so excited about. And then they want to go, well, sure, show me the book, rather than, okay, okay, gosh, I'll buy, leave me alone. It's very low pressure.
Yes, indeed. I like that style of marketing, Mr. Aaron. On the Iron Age Marketing Podcast, you discuss why traditional influencer marketing does not sell books. What's it broken about that approach that what should creators do instead?
Creators, again, just simply need to be enthusiastic about what they are selling. One of the things that I've found that works really well is something like this, is going on podcasts and just sharing, because you can see something in print, and uh if you don't know the author or the creator or the freelancer and they're putting a video or a reel out there, you might not necessarily click play on that reel because you don't know who they are. It's even harder for a static image that promotes something that they want you to believe in. But when you get out there and I'm talking to you and we're having a great conversation, I'm talking to your audience, and I'm sharing with them how just incredibly excited I am about, for example, this whole saga. This is my, I don't know if this is just audio only or video and audio, but this is my Dissonance Alien Invasion saga. And this is 6 books. I wanted to write one, but it ballooned into 6 because there was so much weight to it. There was so much story, and it practically, burst out of me like an alien queen. And I want to share how this story has so impacted my life, how the characters are so real, how it's so tangible and attainable, grounded in reality, and people like that. So the best thing I can do is just share enthusiastically again about what I've created and what I've been given.
You advocate for authenticity in marketing and warn against the innumerable scammers in authoring industry. How can engaged creators distinguish between legitimate marketing help and those who would exploit them?
Oh my gosh. The authoring industry is rife with scammers. It's really frustrating. It's really sad. Um, we lament this daily in the Authors Guild in the conversations that we have, because I get, I'm not kidding, between 30 and 40 emails every single day from scammers in Nigeria, China, you know, just the boiler rooms where they don't care who you are. They just want your money. Um, Largely they're all coming from Gmail, addresses. So that's a huge red flag right there to spot. But you have to be very, very, very wary, because they prey on your hope. They prey on your dreams. They are predators, wolves in sheep's clothing, and they're getting better. Their emails are coming across as having been, written by AI. Sounds very believable. They sound very intelligent and trustworthy. And if you, the simple rule that I go by is, if I didn't approach you, I won't trust you. And I actually, it's funny because I didn't follow that advice with my screenwriter for Dissonance Volume 1 Reality. I went with him. He turned out to be legitimate, thank God. But if someone is approaching you about, and especially if their email is overladen with praise and flattery and flowery language, um, and it just sounds so well written, and it's coming from a Gmail account, and they're promising you X many reviews, X many sales, X kind of exposure. Make like Forrest Gump and run. It is not legitimate. You will not get your money back, and you will get scammed, unfortunately.
Run away, people, run away. You shared insight on the drawbacks of books fairs and the benefits of appearing craft fairs. Instead, what's fascinating, chef? Or what did you discover about where your actually readers were versus where the industry assumes they are?
Yeah, well, book fairs are, there's nothing wrong with them, nothing inherently wrong with a book fair. What I've found to be true for me, though, is at a book fair, I am not unique in the slightest. So it's a procession of authors. We're all clamoring for the attention of the readers going by. And so, none of us are distinguished one from the other. So it becomes a little bit of an echo chamber, and hardly any of us are memorable. Whereas at a vendor market, they'll put me in a booth next to someone who does blown glass, or someone who is a portrait maker, or someone who does beads or jewels, and someone who takes photos, and someone who does t-shirts, and someone who makes stained glass. And it's like, wow, an author? And people are always surprised by that because I'm instantly unique. Um, Also, it's a great way. Yes, if you are at a book fair, you're going to meet people who are specifically there to read and get books. But at a vendor market, it's so much more unique. I think the attraction level is just exponentially higher, and I've always done really well. I love doing vendor markets.
Well, thank you again for sharing to the world, Mr. Aaron. You've written business books, including how to successfully self-publish and promote your independent book, and a superhero anomaly. For someone
Yes.
with a great product but no marketing budget, what is the highest leverage activities they should focus on first?
Well, if they have everything costs, I mean, there really is no getting around that. Is if you really want to market and enthusiasm, if you really want to get your book out there, you're going to have to promote it in some way. So there are legitimate companies that do promote your book for you. For example, Written Word Media, Crave Books, um, Book Raid, Book Barbarian, Book Adrenaline, The Fussy Librarian. There's all kinds of legit Red Feather Romance. If you're a romance writer, there's all kinds of legitimate promotional companies, and you can find a list of them, a very reliable list on sites like Readsy, that are instantly vetted. Those do cost to reach readers, and you will not go into it making back what you're spending. You just won't. It doesn't work that way. It increases visibility for the short term. It might give you a spike on your sales chart, and then you'll start, drifting back down again. It is constantly a process of greasing that wheel and trying to just spread the word as much as you can. Try, be willing to try different promotional sites. Try this one. Don't do anything else at the same time. See how that one works. Okay. And then try this one. Don't do anything else at the same time because you want to see how this one is working, right? Especially if you're doing one book. If you only have one book. If you have multiple books, it gets even harder because you need to know where these sales are coming from. But you usually have good metrics at the end of that promotional run to say, I know that these 25 sales of my book, The Slide, came from Crave Books. I know that these 9 copies of Dissonance Volume, 0 Revelation came from Written Word Media. You can track them that way, but you do need to be prepared to invest in the promotional services. I think it's a great way to get exposure.
Thank you for the tips, Mr. Aaron. You've experienced failures and rejections throughout your career, isn't it? So, how do you maintain resilience and enthusiasm when marketing efforts don't immediately pay off?
Yeah, isn't that the question? That's the $1 million question, is it?
Mm,
I think if your dream is large enough, then there's nothing that can take it down. There's a story of the Lucky Bill in World War II. It was this plane that was flying over enemy territory, just got riddled with bullets. There was no way, and it dropped its bomb or dropped its incendiaries, and it was successful. There's no way it should have stayed aloft. There's no way it should have flown. When it landed, they said there were more. It was riddled with bullets, but their assessment was it had more structural integrity than bullets to bring it down. So the fact that it had that structural integrity kept it afloat. We're the same way. There are going to be bullets that are coming at us of, I didn't like your book, so negative review. I'm not buying your book. These people won't book me on their podcast. I'm not getting a press release, distributed anywhere. Blah 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 blah. And you're going to have to take those hits. This agent won't sign me. This publisher won't sign me. You're going to have to take those hits. And if you have more structural integrity than bullets to take you down, you'll last. How do you develop structural integrity? You use a motto like I have done, which is this other mantra that I mentioned earlier. And it goes like this. Someone's endorsement of you or lack thereof has very little to do with your trajectory. I'll say it again. Someone's endorsement of you or lack thereof, meaning whether they buy a book or not, whether they sign you or not, whether you do get into a vendor market or not, whether you get this press release or not, whether you get on this podcast or not, whether you win this award or not. Someone's endorsement of you or lack thereof has very little to do with your trajectory. Your trajectory is following your dream, period. No matter what people say. And you can't let go of that dream. That is your structural integrity, is holding on to that dream.
Certainly beautifully articulated. Mr. Aaron, you've explored the concept of parasocial AI relationships and their rest. How does this shift the way creators should think about building a genuine connections with their audiences?
Well, and I'm sorry, I don't know if the internet cut out, but building the connection with what?
With the connection with their audiences.
Oh, well, vendor markets again are a great way. Book fairs are a good way if you don't mind, being, kind of one apple in a bunch of apples. Um, Developing an email list, a blog list that you can send out newsletters to. Developing any kind, the more contacts that you can own, like an email list, a blog list, those are people that you don't own, but they're contacts that you can freely communicate with regularly, rather than someone who glances off you and then you may not ever see them again. Um, get I formed a Facebook group a while back, and I found that my engagement is higher with my readers in a group than it is with my page. So yes, I have a Facebook page, but I formed a Facebook group because there's a privacy and an exclusivity that group imputes to the members. And so, hey, I'm part of the exclusive author Aaron Ryan group, is maybe something, I don't know that they're going to say that, but it's something that they can say, because membership has its privileges. You get discount codes and giveaways and blah, blah, blah. That also increases and fosters goodwill between you and your readers. So, man, a Facebook group, email lists, any way you can get and stay in touch, book clubs in person, great way to do it.
Certainly, your husband, father of two sons with pets, including Maisie the dog, Winston the cat, and Finches. How do you balance the demands of creative entrepreneurship with family life? And what is the thought uses sustainable marketing practices?
I'm sorry, is there supposed to be balance? Maybe I missed that. Um,
How
no,
would you balance?
yeah, no, I'm totally kidding. There actually is a
Mhm.
balance. It is hard to balance sometimes because, and this is not unique to authoring. Any freelancer or entrepreneur, it's really hard. You don't have an off switch, right? I don't have an off switch, nor do I have an on switch. I'm always on. And so, working from home, it is really hard to maintain that balance. But I've been very diligent over the past few years, to really stick to a 9 to 5 schedule. Dolly Parton taught me that. But the 9 to 5 schedule of getting off at 5 and going back into the house to be with my wife and my sons, is imperative. Taking time off. We're going to go on a plode trip this summer, which is a plane plus road trip, this summer. And I'm going to, I'm not writing during that trip. I'm not doing voiceovers during that trip. Disneyland, spring break, we'll go there. And we have to take time off work to go be with the people that we love. We don't just put money on the table and food on the table for them. They don't want the money and they don't want the provision. They want us. They want us. My kids want their daddy and I want them. So it is a balance, but man, it's a worthy one. You just have to be very intentional about that.
Certainly. Balance, balance, people. Your Dissonance series is being pitched to major streaming networks. How has that experience changed your perspective on the relationship between independent creation and mainstream success?
Man, this was an investment that I made. We talked about expenses versus investments earlier. This is an investment that I had to make. If I did not make it, I would regret it 10 years from now. So I found a Hollywood fellow who actually approached me. He's a Hollywood fellow. He's registered and accredited in the Hollywood industry. He won contests that are listed. You can find them. So I vetted him and found out he's actually legitimate. Nonetheless, it was a big investment, but I, it's every indie author's dream to see their book adapted for the screen, and to see it, on screen someday would just be an absolute dream come true. I believe in my Dissonance saga. I believe that there is so much heart and thematic depth in that story. I had to have it adapted, and I've since subsequently had The End Volume 1 Alpha adapted for the screen, and my 9/11 historical fiction thriller Forecast adapted for the screen. They're winning entrants into film festivals and winning awards. It's been so cool. They're another way to reach readers. They're another way to see your dream come to fruition, and to conceptualize what you've written and see it take, different legs and go in another direction. Oh man, I have such high hopes for all of them.
Thank you for that high hopes, Mr. Aaron. To wrap up our discussion for today, if a listeners take away only one principle from this conversation, one fundamental truth about creative marketing that could transform their approach, what would you want that to be based on your 30 plus years of experience as a creative entrepreneur, voice actor, as well as an author?
Well, I would tell them it's just going to go right back to our mantras again. Your focus determines your reality. Um, I had friends one time say something of me. They said, you could drop Aaron in a desert and he'd still find a way to make money. I love that. It's very flattering because my focus becomes my reality. And that's what I would urge them. Focus, focus, focus on what your passion is. It will eventually become your reality.
Yes, definitely. Focus, people. Focus is the right word. And thank you for that advice, Mr. Aaron. And can you please invite our listeners to support all your books, your upcoming projects, or wherever you want to promote on our podcast?
Yeah, 2 links. So authoraaronryan.com is my website. You can find all the things there, the social media links at the bottom, authoraaronryan.com. But you can also go to authoraaronryangroup.com, and that is my private and exclusive Facebook group. There are no scammers, no spammers. If you're an aspiring author or an established author and you want tips, you'll get plenty there. Giveaways, discount codes, news, appearances, a whole lot more without the scammers and the spammers. So authoraaronryan.com, authoraaronryangroup.com.
Yes, people, lots about Mr. Aaron Ryan, because if you support him for sure, more and more award-winning and best-selling books will rise. So, Mr. Aaron, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful. I appreciate it.
Likewise, Martina people, see you soon.